Hi, I'm Nicole Wilson. I live in Lansing, New York with my husband, my dog Penny, and my one-year-old son. We moved to New York about 3 years ago and purchased this house a year and a half ago. And as first-time home buyers, I think we made a quick decision about the house that we purchased and quickly realized that there were some issues that needed to be resolved, especially right before we had our son. So that's what led us to go down the route of choosing the air source heat pumps to replace an existing pellet stove and direct vent propane heaters. We were running the pellet stove, and that's in the kind of the heart of our house. And what we were realizing is it wasn't enough to accommodate the heat, especially upstairs. And it created some really bizarre zones in the house. The kitchen would be super hot, the living room would be very cold, and our bedroom was somewhere in the middle. And especially when we were about to have a baby, we realized that was just not a sustainable temperature in the house. Meanwhile, we occasionally would run the propane heaters that were in the house, and after getting our first bill, realized that it's very expensive. And so And I guess the other thing I would add in this house, in a phase of renovation years ago, they basically gutted all of the vents that existed in the basement for, I believe it was oil? I'm not even sure. So there was nothing left, and we had to start from scratch. So that's why we called and started looking into the heat pumps. So when we realized we had to do something with the heating, I did a ton of research, tried to explore the options we had, and the cheapest option would just be like installing electric baseboard heat. But we realized that that would be really expensive. And so as I learned more about the heat pumps, I started researching what funding might be available to help offset the cost. I noticed there were some NYSERDA grants, and then I discovered the HeatSmart Tompkins County program, and they offered some special funding just for using, for going through the heat pump program. So that's how I first learned about it, and we did our work in 2 phases. So we focused on the areas of the house that were a priority for us, the bedroom and the living room, and then just this past January, we did the second phase, which included our spare bedroom and the kitchen. And by phase 2, we were able to completely eliminate the use of our pellet stove. And that was huge because the pellet stove isn't particularly cheap either. We ended up going through, just this winter, before our heat pump was installed in our kitchen, we went through 3 tons of pellets. Yeah, so it was a huge cost savings for us. We do have the stove installed in our kitchen, and we're keeping it there. And on days that it's super cold, consecutive days of the single digits, we might turn on the pellet stove as an alternate. But now it's our backup heat, not our primary heat source. I've noticed, from phase 1, we had the mini split in our living room and in our bedroom. I would say our electric bill went up marginally, very, very small. It's a little soon to say exactly what the cost savings is now that we're using the kitchen unit as our primary heat. But I'm already noticing between the propane bill and the pellet stove pellets that it's far less than what we would have been spending if we were sticking with those. So there's a cost savings. More importantly for us, it's just more comfortable in our house. We can enjoy time in each room without feeling like there's a cold zone or a hot zone. And I like the option. We had Wi-Fi controllers installed. So when we leave the house, we can drop it down. When we're about to come home, we could raise the temperature a little bit so it's comfortable when we arrive. And that ability to adjust per room is awesome. I think it's really great to have programs like the Finger Lakes Climate Fund, HeatSmart Tompkins County, some of the programs through NYSERDA, because when you're starting from scratch and you have the option of going either the cheaper in the short-term solution or the slightly more expensive but socially and climate conscious option, it's nice when you can go that route and make it work financially.